For so many small business owners, passion is what gets you through the day. But what happens when that passion gets drained by one single repetitive task? Today, we're going to look at how one local coffee shop took back its time from a surprisingly simple villain, good old pen and paper. Let's dive in. This quote from co-founder Chuck Skates, it really gets to the heart of what Fluid Coffee Bar is all about. This is a business built with a real purpose, connecting with suppliers around the world and with their own local community. And that commitment is exactly what makes their story and their struggles so important. All right, so first things first, let's get to know the folks at the center of all this. What exactly is Fluid Coffee Bar? So Fluid was started up back in 2015 by Chuck and Allison Skates. Now, this isn't just any old coffee shop. It's what you call a third-wave roastery. And if you're not familiar, that basically means they are super serious about quality. Think traditional espresso, pour-overs, that kind of thing. They're a real cornerstone in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana. But here's the thing. It's not just about the coffee, not by a long shot. They've turned their space into this incredible community hub. We're talking open mic nights, art pop-ups, writers groups, you name it. This place is all about connection, which is why every minute they had to spend on boring logistics felt like such a waste. Okay, so let's talk about the problem. And I think any small business owner listening can probably relate to this. You've got this amazing vision, but then you get absolutely buried by the tedious manual stuff. For Fluid, the big bad villain was, you guessed it, pen and paper. Seriously, try to picture it. Every single time they needed to restock their coffee beans or their milk or baked goods, it meant someone had to pull out a notepad, scribble down orders, trying to track invoices, making phone calls, all of it done by hand. I mean, it's just asking for mistakes. And man, what a massive time suck. And when you put it side by side, the difference is just wow. On one hand, you have the old way. Messy, slow, paper everywhere, trying to juggle a bunch of different suppliers. And on the other hand, the goal. Something digital, automated, and all neatly organized in one spot. This is the transformation we're about to unpack.
So, the big question is, how do you go from a mountain of paperwork to, well, something simple? Turns out, the answer was literally right there in their pocket.
They found this tool called BlueCart. At its core, it's an e-commerce platform made just for businesses like this. It's designed specifically for that relationship between a coffee shop, a wholesale buyer, and all their different suppliers. It's built to make that one connection way, way simpler. And boom! Just like that, their whole ordering process got a complete makeover. No more stacks of paper. Chuck could just open the app, add all of his suppliers, browse their latest catalogs, tap a few buttons to build his order, and send. The order is instantly zapped over to the supplier. The entire headache just gone. All right, so we know it's easier, right? But what does that actually mean in terms of real, measurable results? Let's take a look at the numbers, because this is where it gets really interesting. Get this, 5 minutes. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A task that used to be this whole frustrating ordeal now takes less time than it does to brew a cup of coffee. For a key supplier, that is an absolute game changer. And of course, when you spread that kind of efficiency across all their suppliers, the time savings start to pile up. We're talking 30 to 60 minutes saved every single week. For a small business owner, finding an extra hour a week to focus on growth instead of paperwork, that's gold. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here it is straight from Chuck himself. The key thing he points out isn't just the speed, but why it's fast. He doesn't have to manually type anything in because the supplier catalogs are always up to date. The system is doing all the heavy lifting for him. But the biggest win here wasn't just about saving time. It was about what that new free time allowed them to do. Suddenly, with ordering being so simple, they could easily connect with cool new roasters like Dark Matter and Intelligentsia. That meant a more exciting menu for their customers, and all that time they got back, they could pour it right back into those community events that make Fluid so special. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What's the big lesson here? What does fixing one seemingly small, annoying problem really mean for the future of a business like Fluid? Honestly, for a small business, it means pretty much everything. By getting their behind-the-scenes stuff in order, they built a much stronger foundation to grow on. They're now actually in a place to expand as a multi-roaster cafe, a future they probably couldn't even think about when they were drowning in paperwork. Streamlining today is what makes a bigger tomorrow possible.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway for all of us. Fluid's story is such a great reminder that those little inefficiencies, the manual tasks we just put up with every day, have a hidden cost. They don't just steal our time, they steal our opportunity. So I'll leave you with this question. What's your pen and paper problem? And what amazing future could you unlock by finally solving it?